Hey everybody, Chris Linsell here with theclose.com, coming to you today with a video walkthrough and quick review of the lead generation and nurturing platform, Zurple. Now Zurple is a little bit different than most lead gen platforms. Most of the players in this space seem to focus on just generating as many names and sets of contact info as possible in hopes that you'll be able to take those contacts and do your magic, turn them into clients. And don't get me wrong, lead generating is a part of Zurple's strategy, but they really butter their bread with the lead nurturing tools that they provide. Zurple stands out from the competition because they don't just provide leads, they also provide some fantastic tools, including what I like to call adaptive lead nurturing auto conversations that adjust their path depending on your lead's behavior and response without you having to actually lift a finger. Not quite AI, but it's close, and it's pretty cool. There's a lot to look into here, so let's not waste any more time. Come with me, let's take a look inside Zurple. What we're looking at first is the Zurple Dashboard. This is what you see when you first log into the system. This hasn't been altered or made to look pretty. This is what all Zurple users will see when they log in. See, pretty typical dashboard. We start with the key stats area up on the top, and then some snapshots of some different important Zurple metrics that are really just larger versions of what we see up here in the key stats area. So I want to talk just for a second about what we're seeing here. First of all, the key stats area. This is the kind of collection of metrics that Zurple has identified as really important for their users to know and be aware of on a regular basis in order to get the most out of the Zurple system. So these are not editable, though frankly, I'm okay with that. I think that they have figured out pretty well what is important to making the Zurple machine run, so no real need to edit this. The only thing I would do is maybe get rid of this Get More Leads button. This is really just essentially an ad to buy their lead generation product, which again, maybe that's helpful for some people. For me, I don't really care so much about that. Looking further down here, we've got, like I said, a little bit more involved snapshots of what we see in the key stats area here. New leads coming in. Recent alerts. These are things that they want you to know about that are happening in the Zurple system, which I'll talk a little bit more about in just a minute. Hot behaviors. These are this is just kind of a running tally of the behaviors that Zurple has identified as indicators that these leads are getting ready to transfer into active status. So they put a little window just for these here. And then we've got some stats down below here. Website visits, lead visits to your website, that sort of thing. So definitely a helpful dashboard. A lot of good information here. Again, we've got the Zurple updates page here. If I had to call out a negative here, it's that there's literally 2 ads on the dashboard, which if you're looking for ads, that's great. I'm already paying for this product, so this isn't my favorite feature, but it is what it is. So let's dig into what Zurple is, but before we do, I just want to do a quick recap of how Zurple functions. So it's basically a lead generation and nurturing platform that pairs this Zurple back office, this dashboard with all these different options up here, and your Zurple website. Now I've got one up right here. This Zurple website essentially acts like a glorified landing page. You send traffic to your Zurple website. Leads sign up. You can see I've signed up here. Leads sign up. They can perform searches for properties. They can get information about how much their home is worth or selling resources if they are listing clients. And then all the information that is gathered from their activity on your website gets transferred in to their lead profile in the Zurple CRM and back office. The cool thing about this isn't just dropped into their lead profile and that's it. Zurple then takes this information and customizes automated communication to nurture these leads more effectively. That communication can change based on their activity, and once that lead is ready to activate and become a moving and shaken buyer or seller, Zurple agents step in, and then you become that point of contact, and you don't have that that automated voice any longer. So it's a really cool system. I think it's definitely worth checking out. But we're going to do a full review here, so you can take a look for yourself. So like I said, dashboard. Here's the Zurple website. One drawback to say here is they call these websites, but as I said earlier, it's really just a glorified landing page. You see, we don't have any pictures of your agent. You don't have any spot for even a blog or any of your other branding. You don't see your social connected here. This is not going to be your end-all be-all website. This is really just a landing page for a community that you serve, and so you have to treat it as such. This cannot be your only website. So that's, for someone who doesn't want to manage multiple things, that one gets a little tough. Let's get into the leads area. Now you can see I signed up myself as a lead to kind of understand how the process goes. Let's click into my lead profile. Here I am. I signed up this morning pretty early. I'm an early riser here. So let's take a look. I've got my email address. Look, Zurple has verified that this is a valid email address. I didn't provide a phone number, but that's okay. See, here's where I am, Traverse City, Michigan, cherry capital of the world. Come on up and visit. Love to show you around. And you can see that I signed up on searchingnorcalhomes.com. Now, this is important because a lot of power users for Zurple will run multiple websites. They've got this website here, Searching NorCal Homes, but this is targeting specifically homes in this region. If you are working multiple markets, you should have multiple websites, because the more specific and localized that website will be, the more effective it will be. So here I am on my lead profile, and you can see traditional lead information here. We also have a lead profile score over here. I'm in the monitor phase because I'm brand new, but guess what? I did return to my website, so it's listing a hot behavior here. This is something that you as a Zurple agent are going to want to take a look at. You can see I checked out this property, nice one at 125 Rainier Drive, and I have visited this website 3 times just on this today, and one of them was just for 1 second. But you can see, as you are looking at this lead profile, a lot of information. You also have that information visually here, okay? Some information was sent to me. This was part of those Zurple auto conversations. I can verify I did get this email this morning. It says I opted out of SMS. I didn't actually provide a phone number here, so that's probably the default message that they offer. And then there's a spot down here if I wanted to make a reminder to myself about a particular lead. So you can see a lot happening here. If I wanted to go ahead and send myself an email, I could send myself a one-off email. There are also a ton of options for doing mass email. Like, let's say I want to email everybody with an active prospect status. And then there are also a ton of templates to choose from too, if I don't want to write a cold email, start from scratch. So cool stuff here. I could send a text message right from the platform, but I don't have text message enabling on my account. And this is what you're going to see for all leads. I'm going to pop into the general lead area so you can see. Populates a list. Looks like it's moving a little slow right now. There we go. Populates a list based on the who signed up last, but you can sort those as well by whatever you want to sort them by. Now, one thing I will say here is that this is a really cool system that gives you, for crying out loud. Sorry about that, guys. Now, one thing I will say is that this is a really cool system that gives you the opportunity to create easy relationships with your leads without really having to do anything because of the Zurple automated conversations. But one of the challenging things that happens, though, is that if a lead comes into your system, whether you put it in there yourself or maybe they come in from your website, but then they don't come back and be active on your website, all of these cool features that you want from Zurple don't end up getting used because they are reliant on your leads being active on that Zurple website that they signed up on. So if they signed up on your website but then go back and use Zillow, you don't get any of that tracking information of the properties they viewed or how often they were on that site. It only works with the combination of your specific website. So even though the Zurple auto nurturing campaigns are really cool and they can work with leads from anywhere, if those leads don't stay active on your website, the auto nurturing campaigns will stay pretty static, which are still pretty effective, but they don't end up kind of changing and shifting based on their behavior because Zurple doesn't know what their behavior is. So again, lots of cool stuff happening back here. Definitely a fan of the lead detail page here. Not very customizable, I will say that, which is a bit of a drawback for me. You know, we have the basic lead information here. I have no way of adding custom fields, which is a challenge, I'll be honest with you, especially if you want to keep a lot of information based on conversations or experience with those folks. But you have to remember that the Zurple back office isn't really a CRM in the purest sense of the term. It's more of just a back office for this particular lead management tool. So, you know, I always hesitate to advocate for multiple tools in your tech stack that will do similar things. But in this case, Zurple might just be for specific Zurple leads that are generated. So, okay, so we've looked at the website, we've looked at the back office dashboard, we've looked at a lead profile. Let's look a little bit at stuff in the marketing category. So I want to start by looking at the marketing log. This is where you see where Zurple is working on your behalf. So this morning, I signed up. Here I am at the very top. They sent me Zurple Auto Conversations sent me an email right after I signed up. Here I am. But these are all the other emails that the Zurple Auto Conversations have sent. So you can see all of the different ones. You can see who they were sent to, when they were sent, the email address they were sent to, and even the type of communication. Very cool to see in here. We see alert logs. Here is where we see behavior that has occurred that Zurple is saying, hey, sit up. Look, this is somebody who's doing something that you should pay attention to because they're likely triggering active lead status. So the marketing log, a very helpful thing to have, but it's just kind of the top of the pyramid. You can see you can do email marketing, text message marketing. You can even do video marketing here. You can pre-record videos, insert them into your messaging, whether it's email or even text messages, and you can send this out as a part of that communication, which is really handy. There is also the campaign manager, which is definitely something that is worth checking out. The campaign manager is where you view the different campaigns that the Zurple Auto Conversations are using to engage your leads. You can get in, take a look like the repeat business and the referral email drip. Here is the different emails in that drip. You can see how often they are sent, every 21 days, 30, 30, 30, 60, and 60. And there are some of these that you can edit. You can't edit the ones that Zurple created, but you can get in, create your own, and then you can add your own steps in here. You can add email messaging, you can add text messaging, lots of cool opportunities within the campaign manager. The one thing that I will say here is that I wish that we had a little bit more of in the back area here is we really are focused pretty hard on email back here. I'd love to see like voicemail drops get integrated in here. I'd love to be able to cross-pollinate emails and text messages into the same campaigns. There is a lot that you could do with that, and frankly, I think that Zurple will get there eventually, but there's definitely room to grow in that. So you can see these are all the different templates that we have access to. All of these can get populated into really cool campaigns. So we've looked at some marketing. I will say there is Craigslist marketing down here as well. You can market property on Craigslist. This is frankly almost a negative for me. I don't know about you guys. Craigslist is pretty saturated and full of a lot of spam and bots at this point. So this to me kind of feels like a waste of space at the bottom here. Who knows? Maybe Craigslist is still a very productive marketing channel for you. If it is, great. This might be a tool that you could use, but for me, not really worth it. Okay, let's do a quick look at Ads Manager. Now, you can, with Zurple, you can just get the website. You can get the back office CRM dashboard and drive your own traffic. But if you can drive traffic, you can maybe send it from your other website, send it in your own organic social, from your email newsletter, wherever you want to drive traffic from. There's lots of different options. But if you want to drive paid traffic, you have an option to use a couple of different tools within Zurple. The first one that I want to call out here is in the Ads Manager. You can create buyer leads. This is using Facebook advertising. Now, if you've ever used Facebook advertising, you know it can be a little clunky, a little bit difficult to navigate. It is helpful, I think, to have it all on one screen in one kind of portal here. If you're already a Facebook advertising wizard, this might not be kind of worth it to you, but if you're new to this, this is definitely a helpful thing to have. You can also advertise properties if you've got listings for sale using this tool. Really easy to put this together. Frankly, they make it pretty foolproof. So if you're a little intimidated by Facebook advertising, this might be a good option for you. And that reminds me actually a little bit of social. I want to point out what they have options for in the social realm here. So using Zurple, you can hook up Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube all to this platform. You can create posts back here. Like I can create a Facebook post. Here it is. Let's see here. Welcome to my Zurple page. I could send that if I wanted to. But, one thing to call out is even though this is handy, it's nice to have it in this little back office window. I can even schedule this if I wanted to schedule it. It's a pretty basic editor, and it doesn't really give me the same options that actually posting natively in Facebook would give me. For instance, I can't say, let's say I wanted to tag Robert Refkin, who's the head of Compass. Oops, too many F's there. Okay, Robert Refkin, check out this page. There's no @ functionality here. Okay, so I don't have the ability to tag people in Facebook, which means that if I want to add things like tags or emotions or locations or any of that stuff, I'd have to post from here, go into Facebook, edit in Facebook. I'm not actually saving any time. In fact, I'm adding time by doing it this way. So even though there are some benefits to this, the social posting on the back end here, to me, it's kind of a wash as to whether or not it's something that I would use. I do like that you can post to multiple channels here, and I do really like, I will say this, I really like that they have this post history view, and this isn't really for my benefit. It's more for say I've got a seller who is feeling a little anxious about the marketing that we're doing for their listing. You can pull up this post history and you can show them maybe a timeline of the different posts. This one was on Facebook. This one was on LinkedIn. here we have a YouTube video, or here we have a series of tweets. You get the gist here. It's nice to have this little view to share with folks, so that they can see kind of a holistic view of what you're doing on their behalf. So this is the kind of the brunt of the social area here. Again, for my money, I'm not totally sure this is a feature that I would use very often if I was all in on Zurple, but it's a nice pet to have for sure. And if you've got like an assistant or maybe a team member who is focused on social, this might be something that they would find some value in. So the last thing I want to point out is the statistics area. Now, statistics on Zurple are pretty cool, and for a couple of reasons. One, well, first of all, let me say, don't be deceived by this giant graph. Look at the scale on it. It's just 1 at the top. This is me. I'm the new lead here. But what I think is cool, that is worth pointing out here, is Zurple gives you tons of different ways to measure your performance. And the reason that this is important is that you cannot be successful at something if you cannot measure your progress through it. A lot of lead gen and lead nurturing tools are pretty light on the measurement tools, in part because they don't necessarily want you to know how effective or ineffective they are. So Zurple is pretty confident that their tools are going to deliver things like leads, like site visits, like email sends and opens. They have a place where you can measure the performance of all of your leads, like the Zurple paid marketing leads. This is the paid leads option I was pointing out earlier. Agent marketing. This is traffic that you send yourself to the website. External marketing. You can link up Zurple with Zillow, with Realtor.com, Trulia, with Market Leader, and with a ton of other sources using the connection tool Zapier. So you can look to see how all of these different leads are performing within Zurple. It is important to point out, as I had said before, that these leads here, you can put in your Zillow leads or your Realtor.com leads into Zurple, but unless they're using your website, the amount of data that you're going to get on them is pretty limited. So just keep that in mind. Long story short, I think that, and here's statistics by site if you had multiple sites here. But the long and the short of it is, I am really impressed with the options that Zurple gives you for statistics, because again, you have to be pretty confident that your product works if you're giving people the option to measure whether or not your product works. So kudos to Zurple in that regard. That's it, guys. That is my walkthrough here. Let me join you on the other side of the camera for a quick recap and give you my final thoughts. Thanks. That's it for our look inside Zurple. Here are a couple of my final thoughts. Overall, the interface, the functionality, and the usability of Zurple are all pretty darn impressive. I love the different ways that Zurple tracks your leads' behavior across your website, and I love all the automation options, especially the ones that I can track with the stats and analysis that you can do when you're a Zurple user. Now, this platform isn't perfect. There are definitely a few small things that I would tweak. For one, the social media integration really isn't very useful. Though a nice thought, in its current state, this actually feels like more work than it does time savings and efficiency. So that's something I would change or leave out altogether. Also, there are a couple of spots right on the dashboard, as I pointed out in the walkthrough, that feel underutilized. I get it, Zurple wants to advertise their additional paid products to the agents who are already using their platform, but at that stage, we've already paid for the product. This isn't a space that I'd expect to see an ad. Overall though, Zurple, very cool. Definitely worth checking out. This is a platform I can easily see the potential of and believe that it could be a solid ROI positive addition to any tech stack. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far in the video, you must have liked something you saw, so why not give this video a like, hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, ring the little notification bell. That way we can let you know every time we've got new real estate content ready for you. Again, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.